4 years ago, COVID put Joe Biden into power. So it seems almost strange that it was COVID that took power away from him. The president gave nothing away in his letter to the American people, announcing he will drop out of the race, only that it was in the party's best interest. But the public does deserve to know the truth. Joining me now to discuss is US Republican strategist Colin Reid. Colin, good to see you. Thanks for joining me. Surely dropping out just because you know you can't win for some Democrat elites to then pick a replacement to lead the party to the next election is not how democratic elections are supposed to be. What's your take on how the party has gone about this?
It's a little bit ironic the Democratic Party would choose its next nominee this way without any sort of democratic process, especially when 14 million Democratic primary voters have cast their ballots for Joe Biden over the last 6 months. It seems as though their voices are just being totally discounted, totally thrown out. But look, two questions on my mind. One, if Joe Biden is, by his own admission, unfit to be president for another 4 years, why is he qualified right now? And what does that mean for the state of the country these next 5 months until his term expires? And two, all of these Democratic candidates, including Vice President Harris, who's now seeking the office, have been telling us for years that he's up for the job. He's doing jumping jacks. You can't keep up with his energy. He's just this unstoppable force behind the scenes. And now they're saying he's too old to run. He's got to go. So are they lying to us then, or are they lying to us now? We're going to find out. And these are fair questions to be asking that I think are on the minds of all voters right now.
Absolutely. And the public deserve to know the truth. I spoke earlier about this, so that the cover-up of Joe Biden's health will go down as the Democrats and left-wing media's greatest ever hoax. I mean, for years, Colin, they told us he was mentally fit, he was strong. Then suddenly on June 27, he was exposed to the world at the debate as completely mentally incompetent. And now suddenly there was a Democrat coup. I mean, they only acted when he was exposed at the 11th hour.
They only acted when it suited their own political interests, and when it just became this result yesterday was the inevitable reality since the events of June 27th. But look, there's 100 some odd days left. The other question to be remains is, had this debate happened in September instead of June, the Democrats would really be up the creek without a paddle, because then there'd be no time for them to recover. The nomination would have officially happened. He would be the nominee. So look, you'd rather be the Republicans than Democrats right now, because one party's united, one party's reeling, one party's got the wind at its back, one party's got the wind at its face. But this does reset things, and this does give the Democrats a chance they did not have when we woke up yesterday morning. So everything is different, everything is new, but one thing remains the same. Father Time has, and always will be undefeated.
I want to ask you about that before we get to what this means for Trump. There are reports that Joe Biden gave his team a 1-minute heads up before telling the world of his decision. What does that suggest about his decision-making process?
It suggests that the reports about the bunker mentality are true, that this inner circle had really shrunk. This was a defiant, angry guy who was refusing up until the last minute to recognize the political reality before him. But look, Joe Biden is someone who's been seeking the office he now holds his entire life. He's run for president before twice, 1988, 2008. Both times ended in spectacularly embarrassing fashion. He won in 2020. And for someone to voluntarily give up the job they've been seeking their entire lives, that happens to be the most powerful and important job in the free world, it's not easy. But I think it's also, he didn't do this because he wanted to. He did this because he had to. And however this ending was going to conclude, it was not going to look good for President Biden. But the more time went on, the more distance he lapsed from the debate, the more of his fellow party members who came out and said, "You got to go, Joe." It was just, the situation was getting worse, not better. And there's an old saying in politics, good gets better and bad gets worse. And the Democratic Party was in a really dangerous tailspin.
Yeah, that's a really, really good quote. Let's talk now about Kamala Harris. It looks as though it will probably be her going up against Donald Trump. This is what Trump has said about her in the past.
But she seems pretty senile, too.
She speaks in rhyme. It's weird. It's weird. But she has bad moments. And
in rhyme? What do you...
Well, the way she talks, the bus will go here and then the bus will go there, because that's what buses do. And it's weird. The whole thing is weird. This is not a president of the United States future. He kicked that old broken down pile of crap. Yeah. It's a bad guy. He just quit, He's quitting the race.
Is that right?
Yep, I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. She's so bad. She's so pathetic.
It's so amazing.
It's just so bad.
Colin, what sort of a contest will it be between these two if she is indeed endorsed?
There's no doubt she brings a number of vulnerabilities and challenges to this race. The vice presidency has not acquitted her well. And, frankly, I think President Biden deserves some blame for that. He immediately, upon taking office, gave her some of the hardest challenges he faced for his administration, including stopping the unmitigated disaster at the southern border, a situation that, frankly, anyone would have had a hard time dealing with, let alone someone with Vice President Harris's experience. So, look, she came into the enter the 2020 race as a stock to watch, someone who was potentially on the rise. That didn't happen. She fell out of the race before votes were even cast, and then President Biden resuscitated her political career by picking her as vice president. So she's got immense challenges, but let's be honest, she's got a pulse. She's able to at times form a coherent sentence, and that's more than the president, the standard bearer of President Biden's able to do at this point in time. So look, they were better off with anyone than him at the top of the ticket. And Republicans who were hoping they were going to get President Biden, they were right then. And look, at anyone better than who they had, it was a marked improvement. But she's got enormous challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's going to be interesting to see what happens between now and November. Colin Reid, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.